Hello guys, praise the name of the Lord. I hope wherever you are doing fine. It's a good morning, it's a good day that the Lord has given us. I believe that you are well and the Lord is taking care of you and that you are continuing trusting in His power and His promises. My name is Grace. I welcome you back to my YouTube channel where we learn and teach the Word of God, and we learn daily on how to continue improving on our salvation and doing what the Lord requires of us. So today I want to talk about the event that happened at Kadesh. Kadesh is where the Israelites came about and there was no water, and there are some things that happened. One, Miriam, the sister to Moses, died at this place. And also at this place, when they were so thirsty, they asked Moses for water. And because at that place called Meribah there was no water, it was in the wilderness. When they asked Moses for water, so Moses had to seek God so that he could find water for the Israelites to drink, because there were so much complaints about, you brought us in the wilderness, you have not taken us to the promised land. A lot of arguments, a lot of complaints from the people of Israel, because it's like they were not sure about this God who had taken them from Egypt and had promised them to take them to the promised land. So in all this, you'll find that at this place is where Moses did a mistake that made him not to see the promised land, together with his brother, the priest Aaron. So you find that yes, Moses had a journey with God. He had walked with God. He was reasoning and doing what God required. But at this particular day is the day that everything turned around for Moses. Not completely turning around as per se, but it changed a thing in his life. He would really miss and would really have liked to go into the promised land and experience the peace, the things that were there in the promised land. But at this particular day, things turned outside up, and he was told by God, together with Aaron, that they will never get to see the promised land. Of course, he continued with the journey, but there came a time that he went up into the mountain. This one you'll get at the last chapter of Deuteronomy, how he died. Yes, the Lord showed him the promised land, how it looked like, and he told him that, but you will not see it. And at that point, he died in the mountain, and God himself buried him in the valleys of Moab. And nobody knows even today where the the cemetery of Moses is. So this time at Kadesh, all this happened, and you'll find that Aaron died before Moses, because he was a priest, and his death was like they went up to the mountain, and God commanded Moses to remove all the priestly robes and give them to his son, and that's how he died. So he died in the mountain. They left him there, and they came down the mountain, and the people mourned him for 30 days, and that's what happened. So I want to read in that chapter in the book of Numbers at the events of Kadesh that made Moses and Aaron not see the promised land. Numbers chapter 20, and I will read through. The word of the Lord says, in the first month of the whole community of Israel came to the wilderness of Zin and camped at Kadesh. There Miriam died and was buried. There was no water where they camped, so the people gathered around Moses and Aaron and complained, "It would have been better if we had died in front of the Lord's tent along with our fellow Israelites. Why have you brought us into this wilderness?" just to have just so that we can die here with our animals. Why did you bring us out of Egypt into this miserable place where nothing will grow? There's no corn, no figs, no grapes, no pomegranate, no. So I'm saying that there is no corn, no figs, no grapes, no pomegranates. There is not even any water to drink. Moses and Aaron moved away from the people and stood at the entrance of the tent. They bowed down with their faces to the ground, and the dazzling light of the Lord's presence appeared to them. The Lord said to Moses, "Take the stick that is in front of the covenant box, and then you and Aaron assemble the whole community. There in front of them all, speak to that rock over there, and water will gush out of it. In this way you will bring water out of the rock for the people, for them and their animals to drink." Moses went and got the stick as the Lord had commanded. So Moses was commanded to take a stick and speak to the rock so that the water would gush out for the people. But because Moses was so angry, remember we say that at times our spirit is willing, but the body is not submissive. So it's us who are supposed to command the body. We are the one who are supposed to tell this body, the physical body, that this is what you are supposed to do and this is what you are not supposed to do. But Moses was so angry. So the moment he took the stick, remember he was told by God that he should speak to the rock together with Aaron, because God spoke to them together when they were speaking, when they called upon the name of the Lord, and the lightning came and God spoke to them. So the punishment or the judgment that God gave, he gave them both because he spoke to them both. Even the time that Moses was striking the rock, Aaron did not stop him. But I believe that he did not stop him because he respected him, because he was the leader, he was the chosen one. But at times we do not have to wait until the leaders make mistakes so that we can be judged together because we are among them. Remember, even at this period of time in the book of Numbers, it's where Korah rebelled against Moses, and there were some people who followed him. Remember what happened? That his family and all the people who were rebelling together with him, the ground split under the ground, the ground split, and it swallowed all the families of this Dathan and Korah and all the rebels that had gone against Moses. So at times a mistake made by one person make other people who are innocent to suffer the suffering. So when Moses was told by God to speak to the rock, he did not speak to the rock. He struck it, and that is what we shall find in Numbers chapter 20, verse 10. He and Aaron assembled the whole community in front of the rock, and Moses said, "Listen, you rebels, do we have to get water out of this rock for you?" Then Moses raised the stick and struck the rock twice with it, and a great stream of water gushed out, and all the people and animals drank. Yes, the water came out of the rock, but he did not follow the instruction. But the Lord reprimanded Moses and Aaron. He said, "Because you did not have enough faith to acknowledge my holy power before the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land that I promised to give them." There and there, God gave them their judgment. They were not to see the promised land that God had promised to the people. So then, even when they were continuing with their work, they knew, yes, we are leading people to the promised land, but we will never get there. Even Moses was not sure even whether he would see that land, but God made him just to have a view of it, but he never stepped into that land. So this happened at Meribah, where the people of Israel complained against the Lord and where he showed them that he was holy. So every miracle that God was doing and uh, uh, performing through Moses, he wanted the people of Israel to continue having faith and trust that this God that Moses is reading us with is a true God, and whatever he has promised, he must fulfill. So, in that chapter, up to the end of it, you'll also find the death of Aaron at verse 22 of chapter 20 of Numbers. So, as we have learned in, up to verse 13, that they were reprimanded by God that they will never get into the promised land. Now, the death of Aaron follows. And it is at this time that the king of Edom did not allow them to cross through their country to the other end. So, at this time, the whole community, that is verse 22 of chapter 20 of Numbers, the whole community of Israel left Kadesh and arrived at Mount Hor on the border of Edom. There the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Aaron is not going to get into the land which I promised to give Israel. He is going to die. So the death of Aaron was prepared. They were prepared psychologically. So he told them that Aaron is going to die because the two of you rebelled against my command at Meribah. Take Aaron and his son Eleazar up Mount Hor, and there remove Aaron's priestly robes and put them in Eleazar. Aaron is going to die there. So at that time, Aaron knew that he was going to die. He was going to rest. And they went up with Moses and his son Eleazar, because priesthood was belonged to the Levites. So the son Eleazar was to take after his father Aaron. So when Moses took out the priestly robes, he made them worn by Eleazar. So what did Moses do? Moses did what the Lord had commanded. They went up Mount Hor in the sight of the whole community, and Moses removed Aaron's priestly robes and put them on Eleazar. There, on the top of the mountain, Aaron died, and Moses and Eleazar came back down. The whole community learned that Aaron had died, and all mourned for 30 days. So there are situations in life and that makes us to do some mistakes that we regret in a lifetime. There are things that we do that we could have controlled ourselves, but they make us live in kind of guilt ever after in our lives. So Moses could not hold his anger from the people of Israel that he never followed the order that God had given him about speaking to the rock. But rather than speaking to it, he struck it 2 times. But what was to come out came out, because the rock still produced water, because maybe God wanted them to show the faith and the trust and show his power. You can also speak to a rock and it produces water. But because Moses was so angry, some people will be the cause of your suffering. Moses was not to see the promised land because of the people of Israel who had made him angry. He was so angry that even he could not follow the simple instruction. The same with our lives. At times we are so angry. At times we are unable to control our emotions, our reaction by this physical body, and we do things that we regret later. Some people find themselves killing. Some people find themselves doing evil things, but they regret later. And those are some of the things that make us suffer, but we cannot tell why we are suffering. At least a person who believes in God knows that God can test you. He can take you through a test to see how faithful you can be. At times you find that you can be engaged in a certain business, but in the real sense, you know that that business is not real, or it's full of corruption. It's not clean. It's not a clean business, but we still get into that. That can make your business never to grow. That can make your finances never to be stable. You might be living in debt, but you don't know what you did. At times, those are the tests that comes in our way. We are unable to control this body because we always need more money, but we don't know the money that we need. Should it be clean money or dirty money? So you find that so many people are suffering because they engaged in illegal business. Some people will be engaged in shipping things illegally, but they know there is the legal way that you're supposed to follow. But because somebody told you they have connection and they can help you ship those things into the country, or to bring something from other places without the legal action, now you find yourself into problems. You might even ship those things and they come to become a dead stock in your shop. But at times we do not sit down and start refreshing and looking backwards and see what might have caused our troubles. Sometimes you might have eaten, or you might have taken things from people who were oppressed. You oppressed them and took whatever belongs to them, and you now acquire it, and now you legally have it. But you know that you never acquired it in the right way. There was somebody who was oppressed so that you could gain out of that oppression. So at times, it's us who put ourselves into problems, and how we can control it is by making ourselves, our body, this physical body, submit to self. Because the spirit, we always say that your conscience is always right, because always it tells you this is right, this is wrong. But when you do it, this is the body controls you. The body wants to keep you in line and tell you, I need this, I want to do this. At times we do things so that we can impress our friends, but inside us we are living in guilty. Our conscience is always judging us. So whatever we do, whatever we engage in, let's always follow our conscience and make our bodies submit. Let us not find ourselves going through problems, or not having things because of the things that happened, as Moses and Aaron did. They did a small mistake, but it costed them not to see the promised land, and that's what they were working for. Every day they kept moving and following instruction so that they could make the people of Israel get into the promised land. You might not get into that place that you dream of. You might not get at that point that you always want to be, just because of a small mistake that you may make in your life. So make your body submit to self. Whatever you command it, let the spirit command this body, because the spirit is willing and the body is not. And it's upon you to command this body to do what you want. Let not the body control you, because you'll find that people will say, oh, I was carried on by friends. But what was your conscience telling you? Was it reprimanding you, or was it telling you to do it? Because the conscience will always be right. May God bless you. I hope that today you have learned a new thing, and that you will not let not that small mistake make you not to get to your dream thing that you have been dreaming of, or into that vision, that it will not come into being because of a mistake that you make. May God bless you. I will see you in the next one.